in 2025, 2026, and you still have markets with non-accessible road for fire truck. You get it. So it doesn't make any sense. Our response, whether from the people or from the government, is poor.
From the last 3-4 fires that have happened in the last 2 months, it's very obvious that we're not ready for fire incidents in Lagos. We're not ready at all.
So if we have a systemic problem in Nigeria, that tells you something about the environment. Even their corporate businesses. I told you that I was seeing people in white shirts with their tie, prestige jobs. Get it, like peak of our career. See, you're working at Afriland Tower at this place. You say, yeah, you're having a good job. And what is your quality of life? Jumping down high-rise building,
jumping down story building.
And what is your quality of life? You get that supermarket, as big as it is, did not have fire alarm system. Fire alarm. How much will it cost to do fire alarm?
Hi guys, good day. Welcome to the first guest episode of 2026, actually. Solomon, are you excited about that?
I'm very excited. Very nice.
So you're our first guest for the year.
Yeah, and I feel proud,
Yeah. Even if we're talking about a very serious topic, at least we have to welcome our guests. Welcome to the new year. I'm excited about 2026, especially for the podcast and for the quality of guests that we're going to be bringing on, which is why I'm excited to introduce Solomon, who is a fire expert. But I'll leave the introductions to him. But as always, my name is Agatha Afemike, and I'll be your host for today. And we're going to be discussing about fire incidents that have happened in the world globally, especially in the last 2 months, bringing it down to Nigeria. All right, Solomon, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Agatha. So my name is Solomon. I'm a safety consultant and also a fire expert. I'm a fire engineer. I build fire engineering system, fire hydrants, fire sprinkler system, fire alarm system. Mention it, I build a lot of that. And I've been doing this for quite a long time, about 7 to 8 years now. So we're going to be talking about fire today, and although it's a very sad, sad thing to talk about, but at the same time, we'll try to make it very simple and very clear for you to understand our problem and what you need to know about fire.
Thank you so much, Solomon. We're going to be starting with the basics, right? In the last 30 to 60 days, as in the last 2 months, what known fires, especially the ones that have been reported, can you tell us about, and what do we need to know about these fires particularly?
All right. So that I don't bore you with the intricacies, basically. Let me start with Nigeria. Nigeria, for example, in fact, coming to the new year, and let's move back about 2 weeks before the new year, Nigeria has had several cases of fire, especially in Lagos. And in fact, for some people might be surprising, and then to us that are in the field is not really surprising, because that seems like a routine. Because every December, every year, dry season to Harmattan season, there was a fire everywhere, all over the country. So, for example, the one that happened at Great Nigeria, December 24th of December, it was very serious. I think I saw the video first on X, Twitter, and I saw it was an inferno. When I saw it was an inferno, and I was saying that, good luck to anybody that want to question this, because it was very serious, a very serious fire. So we had the Great Nigerian fire, we had the fire at Alausa, at Arena, Oshodi, is that correct? Yeah, also had the fire at Abulegba. So in fact, I think crossover night into January 1st, 2026, we had another serious fire at Abuja. So we always have fires all around the country, especially during this time. And of course, if you remember, I think sometimes in December, we had this fire at Hong Kong, a very serious fire. I think it is about 2 days, 3 days. Wow. And also had this fire, the one that happened of recent, I think this new year, 2026, at Switzerland, at the lounge. So we had fire cases all over the country, all over the world. So that's it so far. Yeah.
Would you say that there's something particular about December that makes fires worse, or would you say there are fires every time during the year, but there's nothing special about December?
All right, it is yes and yes. I know. So let me explain. So this is it. I would like to call. There are some fires that are like episodic, seasonal. Let's say seasonal. So seasonal fire that starts during the Harmattan dry season, when we have dry wind, and you get it. So because of static charges, it's very easy for fire to start. But at the same time, Nigeria has a fire problem. What I mean by fire problem is that Nigerian always have fire incident all around the year, even during rainy season. Wow. Sincerely, we are doing. Of course, it might reduce compared to during the Harmattan season because the season are complicated. You get, but all around the year we have fire incidents all over Nigeria.
So, what is it about Nigeria that makes us very prone to fire accidents?
It's a lot. It's quite a lot. I'm not sure we can even exhaust it on this platform. So, I'll first start with systemic. It's a systemic problem. Because for as an example, myself, I've been talking about market fire. Let's take market fire in Lagos, for example. I've been talking about market fire since 3 years, 4 years ago. Because every now and then, I'm very sure in a year, at least in a year, you have about 7, 8, or 9 more than 9 fire for market in Lagos State. And even one particular market, you can hear that maybe this market fire last time. This exactly, because it happens over and over time, and then something keep happening, occurring over and over. It tells you to something that there's something wrong, systemic problem. And you get it. And when we talk about systemic problem, we're talking about the people. We're talking about the culture, the attitude towards fire itself. Then we talk about enforcement, talk about compliance, and you talk about infrastructural problem. Because look at the market, for example. The market, you see the clusters. And you get it. See the way the market are clustered, and you look at some modern market. When you have modern market, you have each person to his own shop. Everywhere housekeeping, everywhere is 100. You have your parking space. You have where people can easily pass. Because we're talking about fire as well. We're talking about emergency response. And you get it, because I want to believe, that it's quite a little bit, not like it is normal. Yeah, is probably that probability that fire will occur is like almost constant. Once you have the 3 elements that lead to fire, and you get it. But what prevents that incident, like that big significant incident, is because of how you manage the element of fire. By element of fire, I mean the fuel, the oxygen, and the source of ignition. Probability that fire will occur is like almost constant. Once you have the 3 elements that lead to fire, and you get it. But what prevents that incident, like that big significant incident, is because of how you manage the element of fire. By element of fire, I mean the fuel, the oxygen, and the source of ignition. And you get it. So when we look at all these things, look at our clusters, our market are built, everybody is building shanties here and there. There's no even emergency pathways for people to pass and whatnot. There's no way we don't have a fire in Nigeria. You can see it is very bad, very systemic. Down to even understanding of what is fire. You have a business and you don't know that your investment, you spent a lot of amount on this investment to put your goods together, but you are not aware of a risk that is called fire. And you get it. And even when they are told, when they are aware, there seems to not be maybe not talent, like God forbid that happened to us. So that is it about Nigeria. Is a lot of problem, systemic, from the government down to the people. It is all around.
So what you're saying is that with Nigeria, and particularly Lagos, there are some patterns that you can see and draw lines that this keeps reoccurring, particularly one, to overpopulation, especially in the markets, right? And then a lackadaisical attitude to learning about fire and how to prevent it. Is that correct?
Very, very correct. Very correct.
Okay. Across different countries, right? What kinds of fires are you noticing, especially in the last 2 months? And what would you say is the connecting line or is the pattern in these fires?
Well, I would like to say that it has context. They're always like contextual fire. I mean, depending on the country you're putting in check. Like I said, for example, what you see most times in Nigeria is the market fire, fire in commercial places. When we are saying commercial places, only markets, because people that have catering business, people that cook, people that do other business, also fire in that happens in their business, in their small SMEs. You get so look at even private fire. I mean private residents, you have fire in those places. So in Nigeria, we have all around markets, businesses, buildings, fire like that. But in some cases, in some times, we look at wildfires. You get, look at United States, for example. Their major problem is always like the wildfires, be because of their what's it called, their weather. You get it. Also look at the Amazon forest as well. Also have issues of wildfire in those cases. So depending on the country you are looking into, it depends on whatever their major risk. Let me say their major risk is. I look at Hong Kong. I don't know the last time we heard about a fire issue from Hong Kong, and last time they had a serious fire issue there. And then when we look at what led to the accident, I just started talking about the construction going on, using not complying with the fire codes of building and whatnot. So it is just depending on the country. There's not like any connecting dot. But what I can say specifically is that we can connect wildfire all over the world. Even Nigeria, for example, we had wildfires too. I can tell for the fact that as of last year, we lost about 14 acres to fire in Nigeria, all over Nigeria. You get it. So it is like wildfire is like something that is common with countries. But it now depends on the risk and the kind of culture, the kind of environment you are putting in check to know exactly what is causing the fire.
I agree. Thank you so much. Okay, so one of the things that I found particularly interesting, especially looking through some of the videos of big fires that have erupted in the last 2 months, has been the emergency response, fire incident response. What do you have to say about the quality of fire incident response? For example, the GNI fire that happened, a lot of people came out and said there were fire trucks in the scene of the accident, but they couldn't access the building because of stalls or little kiosks or markets by the roadside. Some people said they came early. Some people say no, they came too late. What do you have to say about fire incident response, particularly in Nigeria?
I'll be critical. I don't know. I'm very sorry. I'll be critical of that because I will look at when it comes to fire, time. Should I say time is your friend and time also your enemy? In the sense that your response has to be timely. When I say timely is because let me give you an understanding. You see, for fire to start, we have what we call the incipient stage. So that incipient stage is stage where the fire is just starting, and that is exactly the point where you need to arrest fire. So there was a research that was carried out, and it was they discovered that if you can arrest fire at the incipient stage, there will not be any significant fire. You get it? So now, when I look at our response, the reason why we're having this big fire, infernos, is because of the fact that we failed to do the right thing at the incipient stage. So when I even have the big fire, of course, you can still fight it. But how do we fight it? When do we get there? Those are the questions. And if I'm going to perhaps score that over 10, maybe I'll score it 1 or 2.
Wow. I'm
serious because look at the market fire, for example. Before, truck could not access it. I saw the videos. Truck could not even access it. And you have market generating millions and billions of naira for the state government. You get it? You have, in fact, don't let us start from the state government. Let's even talk about people that are doing business there. They are making millions and billions of naira, and you can't put yourself together and try to actually create a conducive environment for you to do business. Of course, because if you cannot have fire response, emergency exit, you get it, then it's not conducive for business. We all know that fire is a risk to business since time immemorial, since times of the Roman Republic. You get it? So even in 2025, 2026, and you still have markets with non-accessible road for fire truck. You get it? So it doesn't make any sense. Our response, whether from the people or from the government, is poor. And sometimes, of course, maybe I know they say there is a single-eyed man in the land of the blind. He's like a king. You get Lagos like a single-eyed man because he can still see with one eye. I look at some equipment Lagos they have it here in Lagos, but go to some state, you call the fire team, they'll tell they don't have water. They need to just start putting water into their truck. I remember sometimes was it not 2 or 3 years ago that the Minister for Interior went to the federal fire, and the truck were not ready for the dispatch. In fact, even there, I think Minister Ojo, is it Tunji Ojo, the current Minister for Interior, he went to Federal Fire Service and he was questioning them, why is this not set? Why is it not set for this? Because it's emergency. When it's emergency, you need timely response. You get it? So we're even talking about the fire, we're not talking about the rescue. You get it? Look at the referendum tower. I saw corporate guys in their shirt and white shirt and their blue shirt jumping down high-rise. In a state where we have fire service, you get it? Those are like fire response. Those are still fire response. And in fact, I even saw, I don't know if the right word to use. These street boys, they were the one that was coordinating fire response. You can imagine. That's the state that, Lagos State, for example. So those are like indicators of what tells you about how we are performing in terms of emergency response. You get it? Because if we cannot get there on time, like I said, time is your friend, time is your enemy. If you don't get there on time, you can't contain the fire. And if you cannot contain the fire, you have loss of life, loss of property and whatnot. You get it? Look at GNI, for example. At GNI, I still want to believe that there are still people that are the robbers. And they will cause something golden hour. Golden hour is like, let's say 60 minutes, like 1 hour. That is the time where you need to respond to emergency. In terms of rescuing of people. That's after the disaster, basically. Because when it comes to disaster, you don't have time. If you can respond in seconds, fantastic. But after the rebels and you want to start trying to search for people that are the rebels, you have 60 minutes because the heat is intense. Limitation of oxygen. And you get it. Even the chemicals, after burnt, the burnt of the materials, the people under the rubble start alienating before you know they are dead. So look at it, even by now, how many weeks after? Maybe 2 weeks after. And we still have people under the rubbles, and people are still crying all over that their family are still there. So what do you say of that kind of response?
That's actually, when we discuss conversations like this, it actually gets me very riled up, because it's almost like Lagos State is not prepared for the number of people they have in the state, right? Which is no fault of, it's not the government's place to decide the number of people that are coming into Lagos, but you have a good number of how many Lagosians reside in Lagos. First of all, you already know that overpopulation is going to be a constant challenge that you have. So emergency response should be like, you should be sitting down waiting for someone to call you that there's a problem. That's how swift it should be, especially for the number of people that are resident in the state and for the number of people that pay tax to the LIRS. The number of people that pay tax to the LIRS, these people deserve good emergency response. Considering the number of people that live in Lagos State, you should already know that emergency response is going to be called for as often as possible, because overpopulation leads to a number of different issues.
Of course, you're very correct.
Aside from fire, a number of different issues, overpopulation will lead to that.
Of course, talking of tax, I want to believe, of course, I don't do business in Lagos. I want to believe that there are certain tax going to fire.
Of course.
I want to believe because when we do business, you see the revenue service asking for health and safety tax. And then when we talk about safety, talk about fire. You get it. And I want to be that there are some business that get accreditation from the fire service before they start business. So we generate all these funds. So how are they spent? How are they spent exactly? And I'm saying I'm even saying it here categorically that, of course, maybe government is at capacity. Overpopulation in Lagos, we all know that is a problem. Maybe government is at capacity, but even people that are doing business, it is cheaper. I'll give an example. Why I said it's cheaper is because you have community of business, people doing business. So for example, GNI there, I don't know how many people are doing business there. I'm very sure they are great numbers. And they are revenue they are generating, the money they are making, they could come together and have a private fire exactly to fight these fires. They don't have to wait for government. And that is exactly what big manufacturers are doing. They don't wait for fire service to come. You enter the facility, you see fire hydrants all over the place. You see fire hoses, you see different fire sprinkler. In fact, I'm working on a project right now. I'm building fire sprinkler for someone, for a company, and you get it. That is fire sprinkler. You don't even need anybody to respond to it. Respond by itself. So those are the things that even private people can do. Let's assume that even government is at capacity.
What are you doing on your own?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, because if government, like for example, government are not the one building shanties. I know government are the part to play in enforcement and compliance. But government are not the one blocking the road. Government to come and say that please keep this place tidy, move your shanties and everything. The next day, Lagosians will go back there and go and plant their shanties again. And you get it. So we all have blame to take in this, even the government, even the people. And you get it. So, but it is right time. In fact, it's already too late. Like I say, that we need to start talking about all these things. People need to start to know that also responsible, even as much as the government is responsible. Safety, you are applying for your own safety first. Your business, you are applying for safety first before the government. So what exactly are you doing yourself? So that's it. So that is it is critical case when we look at it in Lagos State.
I agree. And it's also funny because Lagos State has one of the best reporting and then let's say keeping track of some of these cases. We have other states in Nigeria that these things are happening and you have no idea because there's nobody measuring, there's nobody keeping records. It's just happening. It's not even making the news. It's just happening low-key and people are just losing properties and losing lives low-key.
Yeah, of course. I give it to Lagos. It's very important. Even when
like you said, a one-eyed man is going to be a champion in the land of the blind.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not even doing up to 10% of what we should do.
Exactly. Of course, we are not there. I always say that let our assessment be fair. I will get it. Because Lagos has some gadgets. Firefighting gadgets like you expect it. But go to some states, maybe they have 2 or 3 trucks
in the whole state.
I'm serious. So how do you service? How do you prevent fire? You get it? So Lagos, to some extent, Lagos is still trying, but there's still so much to be done. So much to be done.
This is actually to throw light on how backward the other states are, not to praise Lagos, because I don't think we're even scratching the surface. And it's not difficult. This is not us being critical. From the last 3-4 fires that have happened in the last 2 months, it's very obvious that we're not ready for fire incidents in Lagos. We're not ready at all. But that's beside the point. We've spoken about how market people and their approach to fire. Do you understand their mindset about it? Let's talk about corporate organizations, because the fire that happened at Afriland was very interesting to me. In a bad way. I don't mean interesting in a good way. Because what do you mean a building that has so many businesses that are churning out millions in dollars, consecutively every other day, does not have plans in place for when a fire breaks out? From your experience, because I know that you deal with corporate organizations as well, from your experience dealing with corporate organizations, what would you say is the feel on their approach or their outlook on fires?
The problem with is as if that, some people always say that individually we are brilliant and collectively we are whatever it is that I actually don't believe that school of thought, because it is impossible. It is scale. When you take one thing and then you have 100, it's just scale. You can say someone is brilliant and the people individually they are brilliant, and when you put them together they are collectively great. It's not possible. If people are not collectively great, it tells you that people are not individually brilliant as well. You get it? So if you have a systemic problem in Nigeria, that tells you something about the environment. Even their corporate businesses. I told you that I was seeing people on white shirts with their tie, prestige jobs. You say, you get it, like peak of a career. See, you're working at Afriland over at this place. You say, yeah, you're having a good job. But jumping down, what is your quality of life? Jumping down high-rise building.
Jumping down story building.
What is your quality of life? You get, those are private businesses that you can see, yeah, good, private businesses that they're trying. But no, it is the same mindset all around. I'm serious. Of course, we have people all over, scattered over, that are trying to do the best thing, like what is obtainable abroad, what are the best practices. They are doing it, of course. But at the same time, it's still, even the rich people among us sometimes are very funny. Even the private sector people are very funny. It's still the same, God, it will not happen. God forbid. The blood of Jesus will guide us. Still the same, exactly, approach to safety, to fire safety. Because I look at the Afriland Tower, started battery, I want to build an inverter battery, or what they call it here, from the basement. But again, then I start to ask question. What happened to fire sprinkler? What happened to foam suppression? What happened to foam suppression? You get it? What happened to even make sure that place is flame tight, airtight, in a way that that flame will not come? What keep people in that do that this thing, perhaps shock without flame? The smoke. It keeps people faster than the fire itself. She said that was keep people faster. It is smoke. You go unconscious. When of course, oxygenated blood and disoxygenated blood. When you cannot take oxygen and you are taking the smoking, you die in few minutes. You get it? That will keep you faster before the fire start burning them. You get. So that for example, what happened to the way you kept your battery? Why is it not airtight? Why is it not flame tight? So what happened to your suppression system? Where is the FM 200? You get it? So those are the questions we need to ask. Those are like a private sectors. When you go around, I've been to places, you see, MD asks you to do some cut jobs so that you can just fire. We're not on fire now. 5 years, I'm not at fire. But you don't know when it's coming. You get it? So it's still the same mindset around. We say that maybe because the market women are not well, they are not compared to the private sector. It's not, there's no really big difference. I tell you, sincerely, no really big difference.
And that's very sad, actually, that between the woman that is selling by the roadside and you that are tying your neck to the point that you want to choke and die, there's really no difference between us in mindset. And it's this thing we're talking about cascades into every aspect of life as we know it in Nigeria. Aside from safety, it cascades everywhere. We're all the same. And that's why you sit down at home and you're complaining about your leaders, but you're exactly like your leader. When push comes to shove, there's no difference between you and that person that you're thinking about. That you know that.
I'll give you an example. Let me give you this example. I don't know the year. I think that should have been 2-3 years ago. Once market at Abuja, I don't know if it's Ebano. I don't know if it's Ebano. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure it's Ebano. But once market in Abuja, there was this small. It was an arson. Someone put fire intentionally. Oh. Yeah. It was
Yes.
You saw the video.
Yeah.
That supermarket, as big as it is, did not have fire alarm system. Fire alarm. How much will it cost to do fire alarm? In worst case, maybe 2-3 million, 5 million, depending. And you have millions of goods right inside that place. You are turning revenue, you are making money, you are doing turnovers. And how much you do? No, because if that facility had an alarm system, would have saved the smoke before it became a very serious fire. So that's an example for you. You get Afriland is there. All over, you look at it. You have people having this big. Look at Amo. I was in Palms Mall in one state. I will not mention the state. And I went around to look at their fighting system. I was just shaking my head. When we have fire, you say it's an accident. You know when we define accident, death, and safety, we say accident are unwanted, unplanned events. Unwanted, unplanned events. But you think all these are unplanned and unwanted? When you know exactly what is going to cause accident, and you are still doing it. For example, Total Bridge. Every now and then, every year, maybe this is a new year, write it down. Oh, what am I saying? There was an accident on that bridge.
Yes, I think yesterday or 2 days ago.
Good. That's where to start. We will start from there. I'm very sure before the end of the year, on that one. Whether a tanker, whether a petrol tanker on fire. Every year in, year out, you have that same problem. What has Lagos State done about it? Is that unwanted and unplanned? If you can predict that it's going to happen today and tomorrow. So that is it. That's a mindset. It's general. The private or public or whatever, informal, there's not really much difference. I'm serious.
And because my sister is an insurer, right? And we have conversations like this almost every day. She tells me that this is why selling insurance in Nigeria is so difficult. In fact, it's going to be easier for you to become a trillionaire in dollars than for you to sell insurance to the average Nigerian, because they are thinking, why insure? Jesus, why do you think I went for crossover night and I spent 5 hours there? Is it for me to buy insurance? It's for Jesus to walk over time. It's for Jesus to be, when it's happening, blood of Jesus. Meanwhile, I was just thinking about this literally. This is not off topic, right? I was thinking about it, that how many of the people that lost their goods in great GNI had insurance? Because if you have insurance, let's even forget about the cost, which is the fire. If you had insurance, you won't be as hopeless as you were. Because all the videos that I saw people crying, millions of money that I spent on this. People were wailing and crying. Do you know what insurance does for you? It means that in a case where fire happens, after prevention, it still happens, you still have a fallback. You have a fail-safe. But Nigerians do not have a fail-safe for shit. Forgive my French. We don't have fail-safe for anything.
Let me come in there. Because that tells you are very correct. Because if you have fire insurance for your goals, there is only one insurance company will insure you without fire prevention in place. There's no way. They have in-house fire guys, they have in-house health and safety guys. They're going to do their assessment. There's no way they insure without.
So you can't insure what you are sure that this thing will burn.
You can't. You honestly can't.
So it still falls back to fire and HSE.
Exactly. It's because it's still more about awareness and even attitude. Like I said, it's easier to be a trainer. For a doctor to pass the eye of a needle, I get it, than to actually get someone to insure their goods or something. It's because that's the attitude towards safety generally. Whether fire safety, whether their life safety, in fact.
Fire insurance should be one of the highest selling insurances in Lagos, because let's not be prophets of doom, but especially if you're a market person, that as far as this is from the west, let me know.
It's not like it does what we do. We do fire assessment. We come to your facility, we research your outbreak assessment. We are doing business. The number one risk is fire. And because, like I said, there are 3 elements for fire to start. We have the fuel, we have the source of ignition, and we have the oxygen. So the fuel is exactly what you are selling most times. The clothes, the bed, the wood, the papers, the books. You get it. It could also be liquid fuel, the petrol, the diesel, or the gaseous fuel. You get it. Those are the fuel. And source of ignition is, you have electrical work, source of ignition. You have heat, source of ignition. You get it. Anything, spark, source of ignition. So you already have those 3 components in your way of doing your business. What is not making it you having fire at this moment is because of they are not connecting. They are supposed to connect to form a triangle. Once they connect, the fire will start. Because they are not connected. But one day they may connect. So number one risk as a business person is fire. You get it. So there's no way your main risk is fire. You are just saying you are relying on blood of Jesus.
So you mentioned something that I found very interesting that I want us to go back to. That the Afriland fire started from. Okay, I don't know how if there's proof, but it started from inverter batteries. And this is not the first time that I'm hearing that inverter batteries go on fire. I saw a tweet. Someone said he sustained a lot of burns from his inverter batteries. They just exploded and went on fire, right? And we all know that this is a sustainability platform. There's been a lot of clamor for moving your system from the grid to renewable sources, right? Solar energy. In fact, right now they'll sell solar energy for you 50,000. I'll be paying every month. So solar and inverter has become very widespread, especially in Nigeria. Is this a problem people should be aware of, that your inverter can literally just go on fire any day?
Water can kill you. And you get as simple as that. Water can kill you. And if water can kill you, then anything can. And you get, so it is batteries are stored energy. It can lead to fire. So it is something people should. In fact, I think this fire that happened at Philadelphia, I think started from a dog biting on a battery. And you get it, the fire battery, yeah, lithium battery. I think it's like that in Philadelphia. So it is literally a risk people should be aware about. It is not harmless. It is not, treat it as something that can go on fire. It is eating on it. It is all right there. There's a fire risk to it. In fact, electrocution risk to it. And you get it. So it is not safe. You can, of course, with the packaging, with the bodies and everything has been made to at least to be safe to an extent. But also need to be extra careful the way you handle it. It is actually can lead to fire.
So everyone, especially if you're interested in solar system inverters, please look out for that. Make sure you buy original, so at least your risk reduces. You go and buy something that somebody put together somewhere in Alaba and you put in your house, that increases your risk. Okay, so as we begin to close this out, right? I know when I sent you some of the questions, when you came today, you were like, you don't know what I went through behind the scene. Can you tell me some of the challenges you had, especially as regards putting together data for this conversation? Because my initial plan was for this to be a data-driven conversation. I wanted us to talk about numbers. We had 1,000 fire incidents in 2025. Fire response was 20% or 30%. I wanted us to come here with real raw data, right, and analyze it. So what would you say are some of the challenges you faced together?
You see, when I will first start with this. When there's an emergency, in fact, the second there is a war, the first character of war is information. You get it, because the government, one side they want to pay themselves, so like they're not having casualty, and you get it. So that is the same thing that happens with data, where especially when when government is involved. In fact, even when private sector are involved. I've been to a place, and they have a health and safety board where they record data, and on the data there is fatality of 0. But I got on good information that 2 people died in that facility. And you get it. So that's the issue we have in Nigeria. For this particular question we're having, data is a challenge. Underreported, falsified data. You get it. So, for example, the GNI building, what you can get so far is 8 confirmed deaths from there. But perhaps maybe there can be more than that. And you get it. So it's a challenge that you can't exactly specifically say that, yeah, this is like our loss in this particular fire incident. Even businesses, when you go to businesses, okay, when government even give palliative to business owners when they have this market fire. So when you go to them, okay, come and do the estimate or breakdown of what you've lost. You see, business owners start lying. Hey, 10 million is 10 million. Even if they only had in the shop maybe 2-3 million or whatever. So government will not collect all those data.
False data.
You get it. So it's very difficult when we have issues like fire, when we have significant emergency issues like fire or whatever the case. It's very difficult to actually have the real facts and figures, except you have private investigators. You get it. I remember when even past disasters that have happened, it's all really speculative in Nigeria, almost all over the world. And that is they try to manage, I don't know whether I call it communication or PR or try to manage the law so that it will not.
So the report doesn't look bad.
Exactly. So the problem I had was doing this was getting the data to back what I'm saying. It is difficult. Of course, I know that sometimes fire service Lagos State, they report data. I mean, they report I think as of first half of the last year, and then they reported about over 1,000 fire calls they had. Over 1,000 fire calls they had, including the fire service doesn't only do fire; they also do rescue, fall into ditch, all those kind of rescue. So even house collapse. You get it. Structural collapse. They also do those rescue. So I think they had about 1,000 plus as at last year.
For fires particularly?
No, for everything.
Okay.
Everything. All the calls they had was about 1,000 first half of last year. But throughout of last year, I think they declared about 68 deaths. You get it. But
68 deaths in Lagos.
One death is too much.
I don't even think that number is accurate.
One death is too much. One death is too much. I get it. One death is even too much. Because of saying 68. I think according to what I got in Kano, I think they had about 120 deaths last year in Kano State. I get it. But I'm telling you that even with these numbers, you cannot even believe them that it's not more than that. And you get it. So we are not even talking about people that died inside their home that did not even make the news or was not reported. And you get it. So the data is reporting is a challenge. People don't report. People, in fact, when they call fire service, some fire service try to take the records. Some don't even bother taking the records. And you get, so getting the records, getting the reporting is actually a big challenge.
Which is actually wild because compared to other countries, it's more easier for me as a Nigerian living in Lagos to get data about what's going on in France. Accurate data from what's going on in France than to get data on what's going on in Lagos.
Yeah, of course. Now, you see, you know, when I say that people are not collectively great, it tells you something. Because you can't solve a problem you don't have data for. Why does Lagos keep having these issues every time? Market fire every time. If they have the data. Well, perhaps they have data sitting in front of them and just not doing anything.
Because data is supposed to inform.
It is in your face. It is that in your face. That okay, we are going to insist this is going to happen. It will inform you. I said, but maybe they're just collecting and put it under the rock and just throwing it because even if they're doing that, that's not your data. Because data will tell you are supposed to get information,
informed decisions from data.
You get it. So that's exactly the problem. In fact, like I said, one had man in the land of the blind. Lagos, you can say they declare this, they declare that. But at the same time, it's not like how consistent are those data, how accurate are those data they are declaring. In fact, I couldn't get. Okay, let's say in terms of economic loss. I could not get a specific figure.
Like how much
in value exactly. All you can say billions of naira, of course. That's all you can tell. And for GNI, for example, I look at the structure itself. Look at the amount of billions you can estimate that okay, this should be in billions of naira. But we can't say specific that how much have you lost to fire? And because all these things eventually add up. When you add up and look at how the state is doing economically, this business, that's what stack up and becomes something for revenue the government is generating. You get. So it's just loss of revenue for the government if you are not even looking at it. People can prosper, you get more revenue. People are losing their job. You pay more to palliative. You pay with more money to palliative. Money can be for development, sustainability. It's not sustainable. You get time fire there. It's not sustainable.
Loss of economic value. Almost every 3 months, a massive fire. We're not talking about small fires.
Serious massive fires.
Yeah.
And people that say it happened last 3 months ago. It happened last year. It happened twice in a year. Same fire, and it's happening.
And you can't project that this is by this time. There will be a fire. Let's do something. Let's be proactive.
No. There's no data to back that.
That's very terrible.
So that's the reality of things in Lagos State. In fact, if it is bad in Lagos State, assume it was in other states.
Times 1 million in other states. Places like, let me not call it. Let them not look for me. All right. So we're closing this out. What would you advise as a fire consultant? I want you to give advice to individuals, and I want you to give advice to market people because they are the most affected, and then I want you to give advice to corporates. What would you advise people to do in lieu of the fire incidents that are happening across Nigeria? How should people protect themselves?
So this is it. I always say that we can solve it. The problem. Every time I see market fire in Lagos, I always say to my ex that this can be solved. We can solve it. It's not difficult because that's what we solve for companies. So we can solve it individually. See, the first thing is that when people don't know better, they can do better. You get it? We need to go back. We need to see. There's nothing wrong with our generation. We need to first accept that certain level of generation, some generations, there's something wrong with them because we have been indoctrinated into the system, the way of life, the culture, bad. So we need to go back to the cradle. We need to go back to schools and start telling them about fire. You get it? How to fight fire? What is fire? How fire is bad? What can happen? The impact of fire. You just tell them as small as they are young. Because when people know better, they grow up to know better, they can actually do better. So that will shape mindset. And when one person talking to you that this is the fire risk in your business and you need to do this and that, you will say that I will rely on blood of Jesus. And you get it. So that is the first thing. Because like I said, those fires we're having are 100% preventable. 100% preventable. 100% preventable is what? Prevention. Like I always say to people that as a consultant, I tell you that prevention is better than trying to. You see, it's fine that you can be the gadget that can fight a fire on its own. Fantastic. But let me tell you what is even better. Don't have the fire at all. don't have it at all. And it's very possible not to have it at all. I have a client. You have a client. They used to have polyurethane. When you polyurethane, they produce foams. They have always have fire risk. 100%. Their major risk is fire. But since start working with them in 7-8 years, they don't have any fire risk. Before we start working with them, fire and every time. So it's actually very preventable. And you get it. They are training, awareness. We also do awareness in Lagos, in Nigeria, but what do we do? Since now, when they start, when we move towards Harmattan, then we start talking about fire. But people need to understand that fire is bad. You have market women, you have association, and you get it. They have association, they have Olori, they're supposed to be singing fire to every one of them. Before you give people permit to even want to even do business, where is their fire extinguisher? You can mobilize yourself in the market. They can mobilize. Oh, you are the treasurer. You are this. You are their fire person in this place. So is that person every shop, bro? You must have your fire extinguisher. Even people that have goes into millions, it's not bad having fire sprinkler. Okay, let's even find a way to actually have water, because another issue that we have with firefighting is water. You know, when you get saying water has finished, and you get it. So, and again, for private people to also respond to fire, they also need water. And we don't have any water. I know we're doing the cholera. I was saying that we have very poor water distribution in this country. It is non-existent. So, water cannot get to you. You have to dig your own ground to get your own water. So, let's look at in this market. Can we find storage of water we can keep? And let's now build system. Even if firefighters will come, let's have something to start with. Don't forget, incipient stage. Once you can respond, the GNI fire, I know that they said they called some private business to come and fight the fire, and they request for 35 million to start. I think 35 or 30 million thereabout to start. And they were angry, saying it is capitalism, it's business. They are private people.
The money that was lost is not more than 30.
Exactly. They said they spray them on the spot.
Oh.
On the spot, yeah. Before they attend to the fire.
That's bad.
How is it bad?
On the spot, yes.
People that are running around. That is somebody on a business. It's capitalism. He has purchased the gadget, expensive gadget, imported from abroad. He has workers, he has staff, he has spent on trainings. How do you pay them?
But on the spot is weird.
They have associations.
It's the same level of weird as medical doctors asking you to pay before they do surgery. When you're about to die.
It is not free business. It keeps the whole business going. I get it. They have spent money. It's +1+1 business sustainability.
At least you can do something.
But of course they have to show commitment. Maybe I'm not paying everything on the spot. They have to show commitment. Yeah. And you get it.
Yeah.
So, but those are the problems. That private people, they need to find a way to actually create the way they can fight their own fire. I know it can be like a bad advice, because why do you have government? But like I said, governments have capacity, and government bodies are underfunded.
I don't really have capacity. If you go to fire station, I'm sure they are there sleeping.
I mean, at capacity is because at capacity is because too many population. You get it. But I don't know that they're underfunded. How many staff do they have? How many times in a year did they go for training? How much are they spending on training? And you can see you go to some fire service. 5 years, 7 years, you have one person has not gone to training, except the first one they did when they want to employ them. And you see, like us, you spend millions on training every time, millions, keep spending millions to get better at it. So each one of us, each person should also be responsible for their own fire. That is the point. So these market people, they can mobilize themselves. Let's have fire people, fire marshals in this market that go around and enforce that people have fire sprinklers, people have fire extinguishers.
The way you have people collecting money from innocent passerby.
Exactly. You see Agbero.
Put them to use.
You see Agbero busting into collecting money, say, They can have people in fact, you can contribute fire tax to your own association, market association, and deal with fire yourself. Before the government comes, like ECPS stage, you don't have time. Fire response at the roads. Blocking if the association of market people are not allowing those shanties, blocking the road, people will not be there.
Immediately there's a fire, you already have people that are telling people move from the road. Immediately.
That's wrong. You have to be fire ready every time. Every time. It's not until there is a person that say no. It can happen in time, and time is not your friend. You have to fire ready every time. Nobody should block access. At every point in time, truck was easy access. The same way ambulance. You can't say because ambulance not come now, you come move. No.
Guys, I don't want to imagine. I'm going to get a healthcare professional that is in charge of ambulance service in Lagos. I want to hear that perspective. I can imagine that almost every time ambulances find it difficult getting patients to the hospital. I can imagine how many people die on the road trying to get to the hospital in Nigeria.
Of course, I can even tell you a bit. I'm serious. You see the one thing that is in a hurry. Even me too, I'm in a hurry.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
Sincerely, that is a mindset.
Although even tell you it's a fake ambulance, you're just trying to create road.
Of course, I will tell you. You might even be. I think they caught someone of recent. One time, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, he wanted to go and buy a mala and took the ambulance. And with the the same people. And you get it. That is also a concern.
We're really bad.
I remember one time. I think 2 years ago in Abuja, the commandant of fire service. He used to go home with all the trucks, convoy of trucks, fire trucks. He would see him to his place. So what if there's an emergency?
What happens?
But he is having a convoy of fire trucks. That is even the one person.
Do you need a convoy of fire trucks? There's something wrong with us. There's actually something wrong. We need to get checked. As long as you are born in this country, you need psycho evaluation.
So we are the problem, like all of us. The girl as though that can hear ambulance sound and is not even trying to make way. And the ambulance driver that will carry ambulance used to buy amala and be.
So we live in a very low trust society. People don't even believe that there's an emergency in an ambulance.
Very low trust. The same thing with fire. I've been in the place. There was one of my clients that had a fire incident one time, and I went there. I got the call. I went there, and when fire service got there, you won't believe that one guy climbed the truck and started beating the driver of the fire truck.
Why?
Because they believe they came late. Start beating them.
So is it
because truly, because it should be fair. They are also mentioning what these guys are also facing. I mean the fire service guys. They face immense violence. Beating in fact at the point I think they were fighting that they should carry gun. And you get it. Because although they actually cut away from police, most of them are policemen before they stood known as fire service again. So, but anytime they want to go out, they always have to have police. They call for police enforcement because then
people take out their frustration on them.
Immense violence, and sometimes not even this guy that is driving that is the problem. Is at the top. Systemic problem, and is this man they get beaten, they get stoned, sincere immense violence, and you get it. So something is wrong with us as a society.
Yeah,
everybody.
I agree.
So, but for people to know better, to prevent fire better, I think is the one thing is awareness. I mean, let's start singing it to the young guys, even the old guys. Let's increase awareness. Let's people know that fire will raise everything you have. It will raise everything to ashes. In fact, it kills. People lose their business and have stroke. People lose their business and have high blood pressure and they die from it. The chain of reaction is a lot. So if we need to act responsible, even private sectors, we have how much are all these things? How much are all these gadgets? Fire sprinkler is about 97% effective. You don't need people to be there. Once it sets fire, it discharges by itself, and that's it. FM 200, the same thing. You don't need nobody before you just come out that fire has gone out. So why this thing available?
Imagine if there was water sprinkler in that room in Afriland when that fire erupted from that inverter. It would have stopped there, right there in that room.
Of course, although we don't use fire sprinkler because that would be water. Okay. But we use FM 200. It's a gas. It's especially for those kind of issues. That's the point. It should have actually gone out.
In that room, it should have stayed in that room.
Exactly. And because for you to have FM 200 in that room, it must be airtight. That means that the flame or the smoke cannot escape out of that room. And if you cannot escape out of that room, it will not go up to meet people that are up there in the floors. And you get it. So that the accident, the death that could have been averted.
So just to wrap this up, right? I think this is a mindset issue, right? The average Nigerian does not know the value of a life. Right? And this even boils down to you listening to this. You probably do not value your life in that sense. If not, you will do some of these things to protect yourself and your properties, right? So I want the aim of this video to be that there's a mindset shift. If you got to this point in this video, you followed us through the entire conversation. I hope what this did for you was a mindset shift, right? Not just for yourself, that you value your own life and you value the life of your neighbor. Right? So when you enter a place, ask questions. What's the fire safety in this place? When you are going into a new building where you are going to be working, ask questions. What happens if this building collapses? What's the emergency exit? Ask questions. Your life is worth much more than what that company can pay you. Ask. For example, in one of the places that I've worked, the elevator was bad. And every time anybody is trying to enter that elevator and I see you, I always remind them of that elevator that crashed in that hospital. I think last year. And the people that died, I think a doctor that died. I remind you, and then I go my way. If you want to enter, you know the risk. You can literally physically see them turn back because they are already doing the mass.
Risk assessment.
First of all, if that elevator should drop, nobody's gonna save you. So save yourself first. Make wise decisions that protect yourself. And these things, I know we like to say doing the right thing is expensive. Like we said, insurance costs a lot of money until something bad happens. Right? But try in the little things. Try making changes in the very little things, right? First of all, by asking questions. I think when you ask questions, then you start to have answers for what you're asking about. And from what you're saying, I can also deduce that when you're from the building stage of a building is when you should start to think about fire.
Of course, yeah.
Because what you were saying now about the room, FM
200.
Yeah, FM 200 about that room. There's probably 10 windows there, and like you're saying, the fire is supposed to be contained.
Exactly.
It's someone like you that can advise the architect that, okay, these inverters are going to be here, make sure that the place is airtight, etc. So we can't neglect consultants like this when we're in building stage, in whatever, right? People like this are very important, and we have them all across the country. Let's begin to engage them. It's not expensive to take care of yourself. It's not too expensive to make sure that you are alive. Right. But what closing words do you have for
what I like to say is that life is very important and very precious, and you can actually prevent it. I'll give an example. In my place, I was home that day, and then my neighbor came out shouting and came banging on my door. What is that? Say, fire, like fire, and I saw it is from the gas, LPG gas, and there is fire. So I just went in, brought my extinguisher and put it out. So that is a point of lesson. Why don't you have fire extinguisher at home and you use gas in your house? And you get it.
So like this gas that people use in their houses, you can get an extinguisher for it.
Of course, you don't even have to because you have gas. Because you have electrical equipment, you have fire risk in the house. I know people that are burnt in the house. And you get it. At least last year I had about 2 or 3. And you get it. So if you ask fire guys and people that are firefighting guys, they'll sometimes they go and do rescue and they'll see children family burnt together. And so you have fire risk in everywhere you go to. Church, mosque, your house, your club, there's fire risk everywhere. So why don't you have common extinguisher? And you get it. And when you have an extinguisher, learn how to use it. Not knowing how to use it is also as good as you don't have it at all. I've seen a place where someone said, throw it, how do they throw it inside the fire? I'm serious. We've seen many things on site. And in fact, sometimes you will see people in a complaint. I've seen where the workers actually went to go and press it and seal it back. And it's actually one use. When you use it once, that's all.
Oh, with extinguishers.
Exactly. It's a good use. Well, of course, you can refill it, you can recharge it once you use it. But once you press it and use it, that is it. They went to press it and they actually close it back.
And
so
put it there.
that is 4 sense of security. And those companies think that they have a extinguisher that is active, and it's a lie. So please, everybody, on a closing remark, everybody should actually be responsible. Fire extinguisher in your house, fire blanket. If you cannot buy fire blanket, you can use in the kitchen. It helps. It saves you. And again, when you are buying electrical equipment, buy quality. I don't negotiate it. If I'm going to price anything, not electrical, I'll tell my electrician, come, please. Okay, my parents, our house got burnt in 1999. Maybe because I've experienced it before. Come. How much is this one? Which one is original? This one. Please get me this. Don't cut corner with electrical equipment. In fact, most of based on the investigation, whether it is deep or not deep, that we've had in Lagos State, they say that it's almost like a illegal connection, electrical equipment that is always leading to the fire. And you get it. So electrical equipment is very, very important. Buy original. It will save you. And again, like I said, it will save you. Awareness, learn things, ask questions, like you said, ask questions on things you don't know. And private businesses, it's cheaper. I can say it is 20 million, but you have billions of investment. 20 million will
and you spend millions bringing whiskey to your
exactly. End of the year party, you see people
serious.
Banner boy, everybody dancing and.
How much did you spend bringing Do you know they don't even bring one artist? They bring a myriad of artists, and you can't keep your staff safe.
So I mean, how much do you even call external consultant? You know, even though you have in-house staff doing these things, I mean, you have in-house fire people. So the external consultant to come and check what you are doing to make sure that you are doing the best practice. How much will it cost? It don't cost so much. And because the cost of doing the right thing is cheaper than the cost of accident. Yeah, it's cheaper than the cost of accident. It's very cheap. So why are we stressing? Why are we losing our life? Why are we losing our businesses? So it's very important, please.
So now that you know better,
safety first. I mean, your own safety first, your business safety first. Consider your own first. Buy all those things and make sure they're active. You go to petrol station, you see the extinguisher not active. I've seen. In fact, I was at a gas station. All the CNG, the new CNG. They did not. The man was telling me that. I mean, the manager was telling me that. In fact, they just even brought the extinguisher since they have been working. They don't have any fire extinguisher. Even now, they brought for them was no longer active, and it was there. And get it, and you see that also points to enforcement problem, because why are people expecting for enforcing these things? When you go on do so many agencies will say they want to go on inspection. Ministry of Environment to go, federal, state will also say they are going, state for environment to go. Department of Occupational Safety and Health, we have the department, Federal Ministry of Health and Federal Ministry of Employment and Labour. They will go for inspection. Next say also they will go, because these are things that fire accident, fire risk is also under environmental issues. You get, so these are people that will go. Next 5 or 6 7.
5 or 6 agencies are inspecting a place and it's still having
DPR. That you know that they are professionals. Most of them I say the recruitment are like professionals. DPR are there, and oil and gas.
And you don't have extinguisher. And
you go to they are sure it's actually expired, not active. You see them just dump it anyhow. They don't have extinguishers. So what are they doing? 6 or 7 agencies are going. Enforcement issues. Because why? Very low. Sincerely. When they go there, as long as package something for them, and that is it. The truth they cannot be spoken.
Yeah.
So that is a please. Do the right thing. It's nobody need to come and tell you that okay, this is what is right. Do it, and it's actually like you benefit it.
Okay, final question. How much is an extinguisher?
Yeah, we have different type of extinguishers. Basically, we have the CO2, we have the foam, we have the DCP. That is we also call it dry chemical powder or 3-in-1 multi-purpose. So it ranges between, let's say, 12,000 to 20-something thousand, depending on the one you want to get. Also our sizes. We have 6 kg, you have 9 kg. We have 3 kg, you have 5 kg, you have 9 kg, you have 25 kg, you have 50 kg. So depending on the size, depending on fire risk. So when the contractor come on site, we check out your kind of risk you have, and you look at, okay, these are the particular extinguisher you need to get. So you can get, in fact, for the car, you see car burning, and you can't have a fire extinguisher. And I always advise you, please, if you are listening to this and you have a car, please don't buy those 2 kg or 1 kg. It's nothing. You press it, it's finished. At least buy 6 kg. It's sufficient. It probably costs you around maybe it's 12 to 16,000, and you get it. But buy 6 kg. It's because when you press it, you know it's 2 kg, 3 kg, 6 kg. You have more to press and to switch fire. But 2 kg, you press it, and that's the end of it. Yeah. And now that you're even having several EV vehicles, and you get it, and they are very prone to fire, very prone. And when they start burning, they burn vigorously. So it is very important you have enough kg of extinguisher. Don't go and do 2 kg, do 6 kg. 6 kg is very important.
Okay, so what's the price estimate for a fire blanket? Just an estimate.
It's almost the same price, 12,000-15,000 thereabouts. You can even get for less.
You guys, these things are
very cheap.
Very cheap. Don't put your life at risk.
Very cheap. You can have 2. You can have 3.
One bolt straight is how much? And you can't buy fire in your car.
I'm serious. Even people that do cooking business, I see people that do. They're actually very risk. Nobody is reporting it. But people that do baking, cooking, caterers, bakers, they experience fire accidents a lot. In fact, even born. But nobody is doing anything. Reporting it, and even them are not doing. They're always relying on fire. God of Jesus and whatnot. How much you buy all these things? Have it. If I go to, we have hotels. We work with hotels. We have anywhere you enter the cooking area, we see blanket almost everywhere. You see fire extinguisher, because that is it. That is how much are you buying it? So it's very important. Please, it's not expensive. Buy it and have it. 2, 3. Tell your kids, train them. Look at China, small kids. You see them, they can carry extinguisher, use extinguisher. Train your kids on how to escape. When there is a fire, you fall to the ground and you move with your elbow on the ground. You see children in China doing those things. So why don't we have all those things in our schools? So it's from the, like I said, from the cradle. We want to raise responsible adults. start for me.
I agree with you on this point because my first encounter with knowing about fire was my second job. And I was very well in my late 20s before I was trained on how to manage fire. So you can see that we're all naive and negligent. But, I mean, the advice that Solomon has given us today is stuff that people pay for. So I hope you really value this conversation. And I hope you took something very important from it. How can people reach you, Solomon?
All right. You can reach me on Twitter, on X, they call X the Public Health Consultant, on LinkedIn, the Public Health Consultant, even on Instagram, the Public Health Consultant. Also, as well, you can also have my WhatsApp number if that's okay.
You don't mind people messaging you on WhatsApp?
I actually don't mind.
Are you single?
No, I'm not single.
You see, some people are going to message you for the wrong reason.
No, please message for fire. Okay, good. Anyway, you can reach me at Solomon Timilehin Jolasho. Solomon Timilehin is Timilehin Jolasho at gmail.com. Simple as that. Solomon Timilehin Jolasho at gmail.com.
Yes. So if you need any form of advisory or your organization is looking to engage a fire consultant,
exactly,
Solomon can do that.
And you can also reach her if you need to talk to me privately. She has my number.
I can help you reduce the amount.
Of course.
No, don't reach me. Reach Solomon via email. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We really hope you learned a thing or two. And if you have questions, please put them in the comments. Solomon will be responding to them personally as they come up. And that's it for this episode. Thank you so much, guys. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.